Now, ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't get you up off your asses, I do not will. But, you know, really, everyone can achieve whatever they want, especially with this opportunity. And I have to say, I mean, Neil and I had a conversation yesterday. I think I kicked his ass a little bit last year. He'll probably refer a bit to that later on, but we all need a kick in the ass. But as Joe says, if your why doesn't make you cry, you won't try. But if your why makes you cry, there's no try. You just do it. Any one of you here can change your lives spectacularly, beyond your beliefs, if you just get up and do it. Theory, practice, writing, watching videos will not achieve your goals. It'll help you learn, but it takes action. And I have to say, I'm absolutely delighted today to be on this call to congratulate so many people, but particularly Neil, who has been relentless in his focus. Doesn't matter what challenges come our way, what the company are doing or not doing. He has been absolutely relentless, and he's been totally committed to his team and others and our team. He's a team player, not an I player, okay? And, you know, he has been doing events all over the country and in other countries, which have resulted in an accumulation of success within that team. And I think he's a shining example to any of us that want to achieve whatever we want to achieve. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our latest president. And think about this, guys, there's about 400,000 people, members of CAFX globally. I think Neil is about the 11th or 12th president. That's it. So there's a lot of room here for those that want to get there. But Neil, the floor is all yours. Congratulations. I'm sure you're still pinching yourself a little bit. I know I was when I did it. And congratulations. Thank you. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Brian. And it's very surreal. It really is. I don't think it's sunk in yet what's happened. But I want to thank everybody else as well. The last few days I've been receiving.
Sorry, Neil, I muted everybody there and muted you.
Sorry, I'll start again.
Apologies.
Talk to myself, shall I? So, yeah, thanks, Brian, and thanks to everybody else. It's very surreal, it really is. And the last few days I've literally had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phone calls and messages and everything else. But also want to thank, I mean, as Brian said, this is a team game. If you think this is just you're a one-man show in this business and you're going to achieve stuff, change your mindset, or please go and do something else because you're wasting your time. I mean, you just look down the attendees on this call today, and there's loads and loads of people who have achieved ranked positions in my downline, like Krish, Andrew, Martin, Beverly, Mary Coulson, John Welts, Surinder, Frank. There's probably more that I've missed. But you know what? It doesn't matter about the rank positions as much. Every $300 pack that we sign up that comes into CFX, it contributes to somebody else's success. And our job, as I think we've proven over the last sort of year and beyond, is helping other people achieve what they want to achieve. Not everybody wants to do what it takes to get to director, president, which is absolutely fine. They'll find their own place in this incredible business that we're in. For those that really want to drive forward, and there's many of us that do, as our job now is that word leaders. I don't really know that word, but if that's what we're tagged as, it's our job to add value and help people get to those positions where they want to get to. So, you know, I've got the badge, I've got the pat on the back, I've got the plaudits. Yes, I'm going to get the Porsche. But I think that's a prize really for everybody that's in my downline that has worked tirelessly to get to where they want to achieve. I'm just a beneficiary of the guy at the top of that little momentum, I guess, that of what we're talking about. So just for it, Brian's asked me to go a couple of things. For those that don't know me and know my backstory with CFX, I'm going to spend literally 2-3 minutes just going through that. And then Brian sort of asked me about what we sort of teach on this road trip that Gary and I have been doing since we've been getting out of lockdown. So firstly, I started this business the 25th of March 2020, just as the world were just going into something that it never ever done before and going to some big global pandemic lockdown. The last 18 months I get, it's been horrible for lots and lots of people for all the reasons we know about. I've got a slightly different view of the last 18 months. Thankfully, I've not lost anybody I know personally to COVID, which is a blessing. But the last 18 months has changed my life beyond my wildest dreams. I've never dreamed of the income that we're creating. So anyway, that end of March 2020, I rang a friend of mine at Dominic Ricciardi, who's a director in this business. He won't be far behind getting to president himself. And Dom's one of those guys. He's got not just fingers in pies, because he probably doesn't have enough of fingers to go in all the pies of things he's involved with. But he's always got something going on. So I rang him up. I said, Dom, I've got 2 months' money in my bank. I need to find a way to earn some money when I'm at home. And he said, well, not a lot really, but I've just got involved in this thing called CashFX. What's that? He didn't have a clue. It literally, I think it was about 2 days in himself. So he got me on a Zoom with Brian, and Brian went through the presentation, which we've all seen hundreds of times, I guess. Problem is, Brian said 2 words for me that filled me with a fear of dread. He said network marketing. And I thought, nah, I ain't doing that road again. I spent 4 years with another company, and I think I got it to about 350 quid a month. And I thought, I'm not doing that again. But what the hell? So I bought $1,000 pack. In fact, let me tell you the truth. I bought a $500 pack, and because Dom was in a bit of Dom being Dom, he gave me another $500. So I bought him in at $1,000 and then gave him the $500 back a few weeks later. That's the truth. But I was adamant I wasn't going to do anything with this business. That is an absolute guaranteed promise. However, over lockdown, because I was bored, I found myself just talking to people just to get through the day. And 2 months later, I'd recruited 6 people totally by accident, really. One was my wife, which I paid for out of profits. One was my daughter, which I paid for out of profits, and 4 other people. Now, of those 4 people, 3 are now directors. So that's Keith Kruger, Ian Dallas, and sorry, it wasn't Gary. It was 2 of them are now directors. Gary came a little bit later. And something very bizarre happened. In the May, 2 months later, I'd earned $1,000 in that May, which that had never happened to me before in network marketing. So I made a decision at that stage to go to work a little bit. So I went on every Zoom, every training that there possibly was. I nagged Brian and Roy to death, asking them questions about how this works, how that works, how was the other work. I made a list of people to then start proactively contacting. So I went exec on the 14th of June. I went manager at the end of July, director in October 2020, and now a year later, just as near as damn it, this role of this title of president, which I'm very honoured to be part of that group. I really, really am. And I'm so grateful for everybody that's been on this journey with me. So that's my backstory. So Brian sort of asked me to go through sort of what we teach to our downline, particularly to people that have got absolutely zero network marketing experience. And one of the things I hear from people, I've run out of people to talk. I've got no one to talk to. I've run out of people. My network's tiny. So let's just squash that now. So what I want you to do, guys, I want you to open up the participants of this call. There's 94 people on this call at the moment. And just look at these names. So just reading down from my list, I've got myself, Neil, I've got a Roy, I've got a Krish, an Adrian, an Alan, an Alison, an Andrew, an Annette, an Archie, a Chris, a Claire, so on and so forth. Now, I can guarantee you every single person on this call will know somebody called Andrew who they haven't invited to have a look at this business yet. I can guarantee that everybody on this call will know a Claire who they haven't invited to this business yet. So there's 96 people on this call. There's probably 70 unique names at least, I'm guessing. And I'm guessing we all know names of these people that we haven't invited to this business yet. So please spend a few seconds just looking at those, scribbling down names if you want, and create your list of people that you want to contact that you haven't thought of yet. The next thing I want you to do really is this is the reason why I've asked for the chat to be open. Just go to the chat and put in there what you do for a living. Electrician, nurse, you're a soldier in the army, you're a plumber, you're a van driver, doesn't matter, just put it in. So we've got a tutor, a firefighter, magician, a nurse, copiers and printers, a personal assistant, welders, probation officers, Airbnb host, doctor, a voice coach, a gas plumber, a real estate broker, chiropractor. Guess what, guys? We all know people that have these jobs, that do these jobs for a living. And I can guarantee you, if we really think about it, we know people that do these jobs that we haven't invited yet to this business. So have a think about that, about who we actually really do know, and just think outside the box a little bit, who you do know, who you could invite to this business. I like that one, professional network marketer. I guess there's a few of us doing that now. John Welks, who's in my donor, he's a manager about to go director very soon. He gave a good tip when we did a similar exercise on one of my team calls a few months ago. And he says, well, if you've ever been to a wedding, go and pick up the wedding photo. You know, those wedding photos, you've got a big group of people. Because I bet there's people in that wedding photo that you forgot about, that you haven't introduced to this business yet. So there's a few ideas there about where you can find people to talk to that you just to expand your list of people that you can talk to about this, about CFX. I hope that helps just to get things started. So in terms of recruiting people, I firmly believe that when we start recruiting people, when we make that first approach to somebody, this is when our training starts with that person. So we have to do something that we have to be very conscious that what we're doing at that first instant is totally 100% replicatable. Because if we do some real complex marketing initiative or something to approach those people, or to get those people to flush them out of the woodwork, we're teaching them that's what they've got to do as well. So it's 100%. It's so important that we teach people right from that day one is how we approach people, because that's what we're expecting them to do. And then when we present CFX to them, I've now religiously used now the CFX successfromhome.com videos now since about July, August last year, nothing else. Am I capable of doing a one-to-one presentation with somebody? Yeah, of course. I've been doing presentations for the last 25, 30 years in jobs and businesses that I've been involved with. But not everybody is. So if I go and recruit somebody doing a one-to-one presentation, going through the PowerPoint slides myself, and they're not comfortable doing that sort of thing, guess what? They ain't going to recruit. They're not going to be, they're going to be totally intimidated out of their comfort zone about how they recruit. So why CFX Success for Home works, or a group presentation like Brian and Roy do, use those medias because it straight away takes that intimidation away from someone else having to do their own one-to-one big presentations. So, and the words I use to recruit somebody, you can do this by ringing somebody up, or what some people prefer to do is messaging. It doesn't really matter as long as you do something. And just keep it really simple. I just said, look, I've been involved in this business for a while. I and everybody else have been earning every single week. Do you want to have a look? Or words to that effect. Now you get 1 of 3 responses. You'll get yes, great. Direct them towards your preferred media. No, guess what? That's great as well. One thing we should never do is trying to turn a no into a yes. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth your time. And then the awkward one, they'll come back and say, what's it all about? And that's the awkward one. And this is the way you really need to have your posture about yourself. And the words I say, look, I'm not going to do you justice just trying to explain it myself. I'm not going to do you justice by trying to explain it myself. Just watch these videos. The 19.5 minutes. Now, if someone's not prepared to spend 19.5 minutes looking at this business, it's a no. Move on to the next person. Simple as. So they watch the videos. You're going to ask them roughly about when they're going to watch them. I arrange a time then when I'm going to follow up. And then when I follow them up, I'm going to ask, what did you like best? Was it the business building, the passive side of the business, or the business building side? Whichever answer is they give, which is great. And then obviously the conversation will evolve. If it's not for them, in the UK particularly, and I'm guessing lots of people, lots of countries around the world, lots of people don't like saying no, it's not for them. They try and justify it. And that's when they'll go onto the gospel of Google and come up with some other crap, which basically means no. They'll say it's a Ponzi, it's a scam, it's this, that, everything else, and justify their no. It doesn't matter, it's just a no. There's a million ways for someone to say no. There's only one way for someone to say yes. So if they say yes, wonderful, we know what to do next, don't we? We help them open an account. And then the other thing that comes back is I've got lots of questions. So if you're not comfortable about answering those questions yet, because you're fairly new, use your sponsor or find someone else in your upline. We get paid lots of, far more money than any other network marketing company I've ever seen. So use your upline, your sponsor to help you out, particularly in those early. I did. So that's how the most efficient way to recruit. But remember, guys, when you're recruiting, when you're using whatever media you're using, that's what you're teaching people to use themselves. So please don't use some sort of complex one-on-one presentation, because they're not going to replicate it. Well, most of them won't replicate it. Is that all clear? So what I really want to learn then, which we'll go through on these trainings we do with some of my team, is making them understand what this plan is worth to them. So if we just look at the first full capital part of the commission plan, the fast starts. Now, just again, very quickly in the chat, regardless of which pack someone starts at, how much did you earn in fast starts from their starting point up to their journey to $100,000? Anybody like to answer that for me? $15,000. Cool. Nice. So $15,000. Well, that's right. Now, if you recruit one person a week, let's say you have a couple of weeks off. So one person a week with a couple of weeks off is 50 people. Someone put in the chat for me, what's 50 times $15,000? Someone got a calculator?
750,000.
Yeah, so let's call it $1 million. Or 750 did someone say? So if all those people are purely passive, they're purely bears, so it's going to take them and they all join at $300. So the time they get it to the $100,000 pack is going to be given based on existing results around about 5 years. It's going to take them, you're going to earn $750,000 over the next 5 years just in fast start, just by recruiting one person a week for the first year. Now, of course, if you go and carry on doing that for the second year, third year as well, you're not only going to earn $750,000 from those people in fast starts. These people you recruit in the first year, they're going to keep returning over their 100K pack, aren't they, every single year as well? So your income just on fast starts is just going to compound. It's crazy. It's phenomenal. And then because you've recruited people and they're on your first level, what else do we earn? We earn level 1 of the uni level, don't we? So if you've earned $750,000 of fast starts over the next 5 years, if they're on your level 1 at 10%, how much do we earn from that? Anybody know? Another 75K.
7,500.
Yeah. Just for fits and giggles, you're going to earn $750,000 of fast starts and another 75K on your uni level 1, your first level of the uni level. So over $800,000 just by recruiting one person a week in the first year. It's not much activity to do. You probably need to contact 4 or 5 people a week to get that one person as an average. And you know what? You can work this out for yourself, guys. But if those people you've recruited, those 50 people you recruit in that first year, they're not all going to stay bare. Some of those are going to recruit others as well. So roughly 2/3 of the member base are purely passive, which means 1/3 have recruited a few people. So just, take 1/3 of those 50 people and then put some multiples, whatever numbers you want to play with, about how much you're going to earn on your second level of the uni level. And take that forward a few levels in the uni level. It's mad. It's absolutely crazy what you're going to earn. It's pretty much guaranteed as long as you recruit. You contact 5 or 6 people a week and recruit just one a week. It's pretty much guaranteed just on bull capital. And remember, we get paid the bull capital from the academy training plan. It's the 30% commission, which we get paid, isn't it? It's nothing to do with the trading side at all. It's just the recruitment side, and the 30% we get paid that gets given to the bull capital from when people buy and upgrade their packs. It's mad. And that's not even talking about the genius of the commission plan, the matrix. That's not even talking about the matrix. So if you just look at the matrix, there's 10 levels of the matrix. We know that to unlock all the levels of the matrix, it's got nothing to do with getting to executive, to manager, to director. It's just to do with your pack size. So to unlock 10 levels of the matrix, all 10 levels, you've got to be on $30,000 pack in time. Doesn't matter today, because you won't have people on your matrix at those deeper levels, but you will have at some stage in the future. And the great thing about the matrix, I mean, Waskar said many, many times, he designed the matrix to benefit all of us, not just the business builders. I've got a guy, one of those 6 people I recruited in my early days when I wasn't recruiting, a guy called Mike. He lives in Derby. Up to about 2 months ago, he'd recruited nobody, not one person. But a few weeks after I recruited Mike, I recruited Gary Whitaker. That's now got a business of over 2,000 people. He's just gone director last week. He was the last building block for me to go to president. So Gary fell into Mike's matrix. Gary's now got a team of 2,000 people. Mike earns over $7,000 a month on the matrix. Hadn't recruited anybody until about 2 months ago. He's still only a handful. So the matrix is an absolute genius. I've got another one of those 6 people I recruited in that first couple of months when I wasn't recruiting, a guy called Ben, who I've worked with for about 15 years before. He just upgraded to the $2,000 plan, haven't recruited anybody himself. He just upgraded passively to the $2,000 plan. And then he got his matrix payment went from a few cents to, I can't remember, $20 or something. And he rings me up, how's that work? So we looked at his matrix tree, and we found out that Keith Kruger was in Ben's matrix. Keith Kruger's got 4,500 people in his downline. If Ben now was on the 30K pack, so open up all levels of his matrix, he'd have all those people would be in Ben's matrix. I reckon Ben would be earning $12,000 to $15,000 a month on the matrix. So the matrix is the absolute genius in the plan. And it's not just for business builders, it's for bare people as well, as we just talked about. Now, one way to fill up your matrix quickly and be in control of it is to recruit and build a team, because those people will fall into your matrix tree. If you sit back and wait for it to happen, you might get lucky. You might get a Gary or a John Welch or a Beverly or a Keith Kruger fall into your matrix, but that's by chance. That could happen. Or you might get somebody fall into your matrix you don't know and they don't build a team. So you learn a little bit of matrix, but you won't. So to be in control of it and influence it is recruit and build a business with this. So that's the commission plan. The last bit is the leadership program, of course, which again is mad. The reward is mad. And we know what we get from this, don't we? Executive. Who knows what you get when you get to executive? Somebody put that in the chat for us. This is the sort of stuff I learned when I made a decision to go for this business. I knew this stuff. I just learned it. That from that point, I just learned it. Yes, you get an iPad, $900 iPad, or 75% in Bitcoin. But do you know what the real prize is? The leadership prize is great. Yeah. Someone just put levels 5 and 6 of the uni level. I did an exercise on one of my team calls a while back, and we got 9 or 10 of us that were managers and above, and we come up with a figure. We all got everybody of all those people to look at their uni level the week before and the week after they went executive. Because they opened up levels 5 and a 6 at 20%, the average uni level went from $140 a week to about $500 a week. So almost about 3 times their uni level trebled by getting to executive. That's the real prize. Manager, the next one in the leadership program. What's the leadership prize for manager? Anybody know? Rolex, cool. How much? How much can you spend on a Rolex? 10K, there we go. Or 75% in Bitcoin. But the real prize is the uni level. You open up level 7 and 8 at the uni level. Now, people say to me, why is it only 5%? Well, you've got lots of people at level 7 and 8 when you get there, I promise you. And again, that exercise we did when people went executive, we did a similar exercise when people went to manager. Their uni level doubled again. It was about $600 odd as an average the week before these guys went manager. The week after, it was about $1,300 a week. So on the exercise we did, it trebled when they went executive, it doubled when they went manager. That's the real prize. And then to the next one is obviously director. The leadership prize is as you know, is a $15,000 holiday, or $11,250 in Bitcoin. Now, I'm not aware, I don't know if Brian is, of any directors that have taken the holiday, probably because we couldn't have used it over the last 18 months, but couldn't have gone very far, could we? So, so most, I think everybody I'm aware of that's got to director has taken the Bitcoin. And as someone just put, Mary's just put it there, yeah, you open up levels 9 on the uni level. I've got about 500-600 people on my level 9. The uni level and level 9's worth it. And then obviously the last, where I am now president, where Brian is, where Roy is president, is that $100,000 Porsche or $75,000 in cash. So I'm taking the Porsche, went looking yesterday. Could well be recruiting the sales guy that I was talking to yesterday. I said, he said, well, why do you, I said, I've got to buy a Porsche. He said, what do you mean you've got to buy a Porsche? I said, I've just won $100,000 to buy a Porsche. How do you do that? Guess what I said next? Watch these videos. And he's already messaged me. He's quite interested. So we'll be having a chat later on or tomorrow. And I think he'll be coming on board. So everyone's an opportunity, isn't it? Everyone's an opportunity. But so that's obviously a one-off bonus, which is very, very nice. You open up levels 10 of the uni level. I've already had about, in the last, well, 48 hours, 72 hours, I've already had about 30 entries on my level 10 of the uni level I wouldn't have got last week. And then obviously the 1% of your global bonus, so 1% to infinity in your downline. I think I've got people down to about levels 20. So I've not been earning from levels 10 to 20, which has been destroying me, leaving how much money I've been leaving on the table. Thankfully, I'm now earning from it. And that's the real benefit, I guess, is that global bonus. I can't wait to see what that is next month when I first get that. And then after that, it all gets very silly, doesn't it? Ambassador, as Brian talked about, there's not many, there's only like a dozen or so presidents. There's only 2 ambassadors, aren't there? So Justin and Richard Maud. I think there's a few of us getting quite close now, including Martin, Arena, and our upline. You can get the $200,000 Ferrari or $150,000 cash, and then your global bonus increases by 50%. And then obviously the last one, the global ambassador. Well, there's no. This is where this is how. Look, we're all, every single person on this call, you're in early. You are in early because no one has got to global ambassador yet. I think that will change next year. I think fairly early, but no one is at global ambassador. So people say, it's all right for you, Neil. It's all right for you, Brian. You got in early. We're all in early. We haven't started. There's like whatever is 360,000 members. That's about the size of Milton Keynes. We haven't started. This business is just on its infancy. And what's coming next year with phase 2, we've heard it from John Kinnear and Richard Mordy, if he was on that call in the week. It's what we've got now is going to be blown out of water. Someone put, I think it was the Australian WhatsApp group I put on there. God, it's so exciting. The 2022 is going to be amazing. I put on there, it's going to be better than that. Because I really genuinely think it is. I think what's happening next year is going to absolutely change our lives if it hasn't already. So guys, that's what I wanted to run through today. That course that me and Gary have been doing normally takes about 3 hours in a sort of a classroom environment. I've tried to put it there in about half an hour for you. But just really work out the numbers of what your uni level and matrix will be worth when you've recruited X amount of people, what your fast starts uni level is going to be worth when your team is of a certain size, what your matrix is going to be worth when you upgrade through those packs. Because I can assure you, I've witnessed it. It's mad. It's mad. So Brian, that's me. That's all I wanted to cover today.
Neil, Brian, thanks, Neil, for that. A couple of things, John Kenyer always says that you start with 3 people with $300 and make sure that those 3 people introduce 3 people each. Like Neil is saying, if you are consistently doing something, you're consistently doing an activity, even if you do just instead of doing one a day, one a week, that's 50 people in a year. So you may just have to do something on a consistent basis, and then after few weeks, few months, you will see the results. And thanks, Neil. That was awesome.
Just one thing, Roy. If people recruit 1 a week, they're probably going to be executive after that year, at least.
Yeah, definitely. No, what I'm saying is, Neil, they need to do something on a consistent basis. What they don't understand is if they work for a company, they have to work 8 hours a day and 20 days in a month to get their wages. So
to build someone else's dreams, eh?
Yeah, and this is their own business they are starting, So
it amazes me. There's lots of sayings and these little graphics that go around social media. There's a saying: people work 8, 9, 10 hours a day for 40 years to retire on 20% of what they've been used to earning, but they won't spend half an hour a day building up something for themselves. It's mad.
The challenge, another thing we all have to understand, what you guys need to understand from what Neil is talking about, it's a numbers game. And make sure that you prepare that you're going to have no's. The challenge we all have is that we prepare ourselves that, everyone, this is awesome business, a huge opportunity. Everyone we want to talk to jump into the business. That is where it all goes wrong. And like Neil says, every single person get on touch with Brian City. Doesn't matter washing the car or setting up a broadband in his house or he's buying a motorbike. They are all in Brian's business, because if they ask a question, Brian knows how to answer. I've seen a lot of people do that. Brian knows how to answer it because he creates curiosity and he wants to do it. And he asks questions and Brian tell him what he needs to know and what Brian thinks is right for him. Like you do the same thing. These are the things people need to understand. We just try to do a presentation. Neil, your turnover in the business up to now probably $15-20 million.
No, it's more than that now. It's over 9,000 points, so $18-19 million.
$20 million worth of business you have done in the last 18 months. Yeah. You don't have an office, you don't have no staff, and your income is going to keep going up even whether you do anything or not. There's nothing you need to do. Yeah. So that is the situation you are in, and you started with a few $100s. And that's the opportunity we have. So like Martin always says, he said he put $3 million to start this business. That's how he treated it. So I cannot explain someone at $3 million. If I invest $3 million, I cannot explain to somebody how the $3 million business works. So if you start a traditional business, if you're getting a project, like Martin says, you are looking for your board of directors for a $3 million business. Who are you going to invite? So thanks, Neil.
Just Roy, just one thing, if I may. I mean, please don't think the person you introduce to this is the only person that can add value to your journey within CFX, because Brian touched on it earlier on. I think it was around about May. I've been in probably 6 weeks. I hadn't recruited a couple of people by accident. And I got a phone call from Brian, and it was a bit of a kick up the arse, basically. But I think what it did at that stage, in hindsight, I probably didn't realise at the time, it sort of really made me look at this business properly and start to understand it. And I don't think I actually understood this opportunity until I was probably director, really. Not really the numbers on it, because you only believe something really when you see it and you're smacking in your face when it's affecting you, don't you? When other people tell you about it, it is what it is. But one thing I did know, that every time I recruited somebody and they recruited somebody, my income kept going up, and that's what gave me belief. But it starts with us and it starts with you. And Roy, the event, Roy arranged an event last May, just as we were starting to come out of lockdown. And he got some of the people that were together that were executives and above in my downline, and he had a little meeting in London with Martin Arena, who, if you don't know, is a president in our upline. He's the person that recruited Roy. And and that event itself, Roy, I think that just gave belief to some of the people. Matt, well, I did because I've been told this. It gave some of the people that just got to executive huge amounts of belief about this company, about its longevity, its credibility, and everything else, and the opportunity. So that event that you arranged, Roy, I think it really spurred a few people on. And in the last sort of couple of months, we've really started to see the benefit of that.
Yeah, fantastic. It's you know, it's there for anyone, but you have to put in the work. The only place you get success before work is in the dictionary, and you have definitely put in the work. There's no question.
Yeah, it's not stopping now though. So now I've got this. I'm an ambassador.
Oh, I know exactly. But I just want to make it very clear to everyone here: you can all get the president. You just have to do the work. We're here to help you and support you. It's not a lonely game, but you got to make that commitment. And you know, Neil is continuing doing his trainings, meetings, country roadshow, and will continue to do so. But when you get to the level, you know, I was texting a lady this morning that I'm prospecting. She's got 15,000 people in her network, and yet she wasn't in a position to part with $1,000 right now. So what does that tell you? I've been around this industry 40 years, and I've never, ever seen anything like what we have with CashFX. But the vast majority of people haven't taken the time to understand what they have in their hands. We've definitely got a golden goose that lays golden eggs every week, and 5 different types of eggs every month for us. You got to learn what those eggs look like. And if you want some, you got to take the time to understand the business. We can't do it for you. We can do it with you. And I run as fast as anybody else will run. Roy will tell you that, Neil will tell you that. But you got to run, because I'm not chasing you. We're not here to chase anybody. We don't need to. We can talk to anyone about this business, and we're not here to force or sell. This is about inviting. We were at lunch with some of your team in Gibraltar there the other day, Neil, with Leslie and a friend of hers. And the guy, the waiter who served us, he actually, although it's going to be in Leslie's business, he wants to take me to lunch because we had a chat. Okay. It's very, very easy, guys, but you got to do it. So, Neil, I just want to really, again, thank you so much for everything you've done, for the massive contribution that you've made to the team and the business and CFX. I know it's going to be an absolute ball on the cruise when you guys all get together. I'm sure there's going to be an incredible recognition party with Waskar and John and Edwin and Ron Pope, etc. I'm just really, really sorry that we're not going to be there. But I would also like to recognize a few other people, because without you helping people to get the director, you don't get the president. Without people getting the manager, they don't get the director. This starts from the bottom up, and we always say a rising tide lifts all ships. But the big difference with this business and the corporate world, this business is cooperative, not competitive. And I love the old graphic of the corporate flow chart, where you know the top of the tree, the CEO. So all the SH1Ts come down on the managers, the supervisors, and workers. So when the guy at the top looks down, all he sees is SH1T, but the guys at the bottom, when they look up, all they see is ASS holes. So that's the corporate world. We've got a different world. We've got a different way. You've proven that it works. You've gone president before your sponsor, who won't be long behind you. But that's the beauty of this business, because anybody can get there. Yes, we have, our business is a pyramid, but it's an inverted pyramid that anybody can get to the top. So if you want a slice of the action, get off your bloody asses and go and get it. Okay. I'm going to recognize a few people here. As I say, Joe has just reached director. Again, life-changing story. In fact, maybe Joe, just before we wrap up, because you're living out a life of your dreams out in the sun, maybe you'd like to say a few words and unmute yourself there for a moment, Joe, would you please, before we wrap up?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Neil, congratulations. I'd like to say you have been an inspiration to me. Although I may not be on every call, what I do, I have a set of headphones on and I'm always listening to the recordings and putting the information into my head. I started this business on the 27th of February 2020 with $300. And at that time, I didn't focus on the pandemic. My goal was to help as many people as possible to earn just $100 extra a month, because I could see what was coming down the line, and that was it's all about helping other people. When I'm speaking to someone and they ask me what do I do, I say I show people how to make money while they sleep, and I wait for the answer. If they don't answer, I don't tell them anything more. But if they say, how do you do that? My next question is this: why would you want to earn money while you sleep? And I wait for the answer, and I keep getting the why, the why, the why. And the bottom line is this here: if somebody hasn't got a why, they will not try. Some people, so it's a numbers game. I don't care. I'll ask 200 people, 300 people. The only reason that Neil and Roy and Brian and myself have got to the positions that we have got to, we have had more people say no than yes. Rejection, some people think rejection, oh, they're rejecting me. You don't worry about that. You move on. Next, please.
Yeah.
And
so tell us, Joe.
And it's life change. I'm now living, as you can see, I'm sitting in Rhodes. This is my third time in Rhodes this year. I came to Greece on the 2nd of June, and I've been on 22 islands. I'm starting a business with $300. I don't have a laptop lifestyle. I have a smartphone lifestyle. And it's due to helping by me, helping my team, and helping other people.
Joe, can you share with everyone the kind of start that you had, the kind of situation you were in, and like we were in
the situation I was in, basically at the end of in 2019, I was looking after my mother, and I had to put her. She had dementia, and I had to put her into a home, and I hadn't the money to pay for it. So I was financially broke. Another business venture that I went in January 2020, it collapsed, and guys ran off with 120,000 of my money. So I was in a serious financial situation. I basically lost everything, and it wasn't the case of, as I go back to, if your why doesn't make you cry, you will not try. But if your why makes you cry, there is no try, you do it. And I was in that position. I had to do it. I had nothing else. And that is why I focused on CashFX. I focused on it, and as soon as I saw it, I said, this is a winner for anybody. I got rejected, laughed at, all the rest. Some of those people are now in the business. But better than that, some of those people that laughed at me at the start have now come back to me and asked me, how do you do it? How are you able to put up on Facebook every week that you're on a different flight? I used to get out of bed when I was a lorry driver. And I used to have to get out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning to drive a lorry. The only time I get out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning now is to catch a flight. So it is there. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it if you have the why. If you have the why, find out what your why is, why you want to do it, and it will achieve it. I'm now living a lifestyle that most millionaires can't live, to be quite honest.
Actually, Joe, that's a very, very important point, because you know, more and more we're coming across a lot of people who are very, very successful and making a lot of money, but they've no life. You know, I've met a car dealer down here in Marbella. The guy's selling about 40 to 50 cars a month, high-end cars. Not he doesn't do finance. They're all bought cash or paid for. And the guy doesn't have time to live. So, you know, we really have got something, and I honestly believe the next wave of people that will come into this business are professionals, business people, entrepreneurs, and people who are ultra successful because they haven't got the life balance. This business is giving us a lifestyle now that I work when I want to work. I work and meet the people that I want to see, but I've got balance. You know, we're heading out in the afternoon here in the trike, and you know, the business meeting tomorrow. I'm going to a networking event tomorrow night, but you know, I play golf now every Tuesday and Saturday, and CFX has given us lifestyle. So I think it's about time to.
One more point, Brian.
Joe, 1 second, Joe. Brian, it's also really fulfilling when we understand that we could actually help someone like Joe from where he was and where he is now. It's more fulfilling for me and Brian than anything else, because we had conversations. We were in a very bad situation as well, but when we saw everything, we were really worried for you. And Brian said, "Oh my God, this guy is in a real mess. We need to get him out. We need to help him." So now that we've done that, we managed to help you out. That's huge. And also, another thing everyone has to understand, just to add to what Neil was talking about, 8 years ago, I actually recruited Brian's son when he was 20 years old. And if I didn't treat Chris like a businessman, I wouldn't have got connection to Brian. So people need to understand, people knows people. I mean, and that's very important. So you need to find people and you start working. Neil said the meeting that we had, we saw, remember, Neil, that we met in Northampton after the lockdown.
Oh, in July, literally when literally days when after that first lockdown, everywhere was still
with your team. We met. That actually makes a difference. We start to understand each other and so on and so forth. So once you find people, then just build that relationship and rapport, and then focus with those people. You can become successful. First you just recruit. And me and Brian, we had conversation in the beginning when Joe was there. Joe was with us from the beginning, and Brian keep pulling me and say, "Oh, this is hard work. This is hard work. We have to do all the work and so on and so forth." I said, "Man, just keep on doing. We will get the Neil. We will get." And then all of a sudden, Neil started coming and building the business. Even Mahi, for an example, Brian, he didn't know anything before, but he just became busy, And then the leaders started coming in and they started doing it. But until then, you wouldn't understand the first 3 months. Me and Brian just flat out from morning to night, just doing everything, getting people started, getting the Bitcoin, sorting out everything. But that's how. So, but now that's the beauty of this.
That's the beauty of this business. Every single person is making money because we can help everybody from the very first day they start with their $300 contract. It just depends whether they want it or not. So again, congratulations to everybody who has achieved all the different ranks. I say the hardest rank to achieve initially is executive. And that's the real important one to get to. Set yourself a goal to get there. It's not difficult. If you find 3 people who find three, you'll be executive. You could do it in 4 months by recruiting 3 people in the next month and getting them to do the same. So we're here to help you. We're putting on events, meetings, trainings. Obviously, a lot of you are going to go on the cruise. Anybody who can go, I can tell you right now, it's the best investment you could ever make in yourself to be there. Because the value that you will get from being in that environment with the leaders, with the owners, is priceless, and you will not be able to put a value of how that will impact on your business. So if you can get to the cruise and you can go, please do so. You won't make a better investment. But for that, I'm going to wish everybody a fabulous afternoon. Thank you all so much. We will have the recording of this. And again, Neil, thank you very, very much for taking the time. I know that you're in hot demand right now for other calls, meetings and trainings. So enjoy the success and let me know what color you pick in the Porsche.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Joe, well done as well. Well, everybody who qualified in the last season and everybody who want to qualify in the future. Well done, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, lads.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.